guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to be building a cryptocurrency application using coinpaprika, and then we are also going to be using the M.V.V.M architecture with Riverport AsyncNotifier. Okay, so this is the overview of the application. As you can see, it's going to display all cryptocurrencies and their status, if they are active or not, right? And then as you can see, this is Bitcoin. As you can see, we have just loaded Bitcoin. If I click on it, as you can see, it just loads it instantly, because the future provider allows us to cache our data. So same goes for the Ethereum, right? So that's it for the application. Now let's talk about the M.V.V.M architecture. So what's the M.V.V.M architecture? It's called the model view model, right? So in this case, on the model part, we have what we have the repository. So what's the purpose of this repository? So the repository is going to listen to API callbacks from coinpaprika, or it's going to call API methods to get data from coinpaprika. And then, like, once we get the data from our repository, then we have what we call the view model. So the purpose of the view model is to request for updates from the repository. And then if there are any update from the repository is going to just publish the updates to the view model. And then what the view model now does is that its output are the UI states, and then its input are the events. So in this case, if a user clicks on the Bitcoin, as you saw, that's an event, and then that event is going to trigger the view model, which is going to request the update, like it's going to get the Bitcoin data from the repository. And then once it gets the data from the repository, what it's going to do is then it's going to load the UI, is going to change our user interface. In this case, it's going to display the page for the Bitcoin, right? So that's it for the M.V.V.M architecture. Now let's do it in code. Let's then implement it in code, right? Okay. So the first thing that we are going to do is we need to work on our folder structure, right? So inside our lib, we need a folder called core. We're going to need another folder that's going to be the config. That's going to have our API config, right? The config. And then the next one is the model. We have the model that's going to contain our model. And then the next folder that's going to have is the repositories, right? It's the repositories, right? And then the next one that we are going to have is the util, for utilities, right? It's the util folder, right? And then the next one that we have is the view model, right? We are going to have the view model. Okay, that's the other one that we're going to have. We have to, for the user interfaces, is going to be the views. Okay, and then we also need for the widgets, because we are going to break our user interface into components. So that's the widgets folder, right? So now that we are done, now what we need to do is we need to go into the pubspec.yaml file. So in the pubspec.yaml file, I'm going to use a few packages from that. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to put a link in the description to the GitHub repository, because I'm not going to go through all of them. So I'm just going to paste it below. So right, so we are going to need JSON annotation, the freeze package, the HTTP package, Flutter Riverport, and then the FPDart package, right? So, and then the other packages that we are going to need the build runner and also JSON serializable. So I'm just going to copy those, and then I'm just going to paste those below the link. Okay. All right. So now that we are done with those, let's just leave our application, and then let's make sure that the pubspec.yaml file is going to load. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of this boilerplate code, right? So let me just get rid of this boilerplate code. Okay. Okay, so let's get rid of this code also. And then what we need is we are going to, inside our view, let's create the HomeScreen.dat. Okay. It's going to be a stateless widget. home screen, and then let's change this to a scaffold widget. Okay, now that we're done, let's put it under here. It's home widget, home screen like this. All right, and then it's constant. Okay, now that we are done. Okay, so now that we are done, now what we are going to do is we are going to I'm just going to show you the website for the CoinPaprika, so where are the API that we are going to use. So let me just create my browser. So this is the website here. We have like CoinPaprika. So this is the free one. So if you can just copy this user interface, just copy it and then paste it, and then in front of this / just paste in coins, and then you can see that it will display this JSON file, right? It will display this JSON file. So what we are going to do is we are just going to okay, so what we are going to do is you just need to copy this. Okay, let me just copy it and then paste it in another. Okay, somehow it's not loading. So if you copy that JSON file and then if you paste it inside the .to.json, it should generate JSON files for you. But in this case, I'm just going to show you from what I did what we are going to need. So the first file that we are going to need, so the first file that we are going, so inside our model folder, the first model that we are going to create is the coin.dat file. So we are going to be using a Frisk package to create our model classes, right? Abstract class. Our class is going to be a coin. And then we need to create a constructor for the coin. And then what we need is we need the ID for each coin, because each coin is going to have its unique ID. We also need the name of the coin, in for instance Bitcoin, right? And then we also need the symbol for the coin. And then we also need the rank, which is going to be an integer, and then a boolean if the coin is new or not, but I'm not sure if we're going to use it. And then we have the boolean for if the coin is still active or not. So it's going to be is active. Make sure you put the underscore, because if you do not put the underscore, you'll get an error later. And then string, and then it's going to be a type. All right, like this. So now we're just going to say it's. So what does this Frisk package do? The Frisk package allows us to create immutable model classes, right? Which makes it easier for handling state management. That makes sure that nothing can just change our state unless it's the view model, right? And then it's going to be a JSON file. And we're going to just coin from JSON, like this, coin from JSON, and then we just pass in the JSON. Okay, so now that we are done with this. What we need to do is we need to import the first package. So what we need to do is part coin dot freezed dot dat, like this, and then part coin dot g dot dat, right? And then let's annotate it. We need to provide an annotation with get freezed. Okay, and then the next thing is we need to get the import statement, right? All right, now let's just let me just run my terminal. So what this is going to do is it's going to generate like JSON classes for us. So we use this command, Flutter pub build runner. I'll just put this command in the description below so that you can just use it. Okay, so somehow it's saying that we didn't put a semicolon here. So let's just put a semicolon and let's run the command, rerun the command. Okay, now we have succeeded. As you can see, we have generated two classes, the coin.freezed and coin.g. Okay, so now the next thing that we need is we need another class for the coin detail. But before we do that, since we are going to get a list of coins, what we need to do is we need to create a JSON. We need to convert this single coin into a list so that we can get a list of coins from JSON, and then we just provide dynamic, which is of type str, which is going to be a string, and then the list of type coin, and then we're just going to say dot from, and then we provide str dot net e, and then coin dot from JSON. Okay, like this. In this case, we just need, in this case, we need to pass in our e, which is the value. Okay, now we are done. So let's do the same for the coin detail. So to do that for the coin detail, I will just copy this for class. Okay, I'll just copy this for class like this. Okay, it's going to be coin detail dot dat. Okay, let me just paste this. It's going to be, let me just change the classes to coin detail, and then coin detail. Okay, so let me just get rid of this. We don't need it. Let's change it to coin detail, because if we don't do that, we are going to get an error. Coin detail like this. Okay, so let me just get rid of these arguments for the constructor. I think we need the ID, the name, the symbol. We need to provide a string which is going to be of type description. And then boolean is active. Then string type And then I will also need a list of tags. List of tags, which is also nullable. So let's say tags. So let's change this to CoinDetail. CoinDetail, like this. Okay, so before we run this, we need to take care of the tags, because as you can see, we have also another tag classes. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to copy it. You can get it in on GitHub. Text.dat. That's the file. That's the file name. Yeah, like this, and then yeah, everything is okay. So let's import it here. Import. So let's run our command for generating these classes. So we have a typo here. It's supposed to be detail. All right. Now we are left with team member, because we also have team member. If you remember from our user interface, if you remember from our app here, we also have the team member. Yeah, team members. Okay, so let's take care of it. I'm just going to copy it from my GitHub repository, and then I'm just going to paste it. Yeah, team member .dat, like this. Okay, so let me just paste it, and then let's generate the files. So it seems as if okay, I made a typo here. Let me just rename it. Team member. Okay, like this. And then let me just run. Okay, now with that we are done with our models file. Now let's go inside our config. Let's create inside our config folder here. Let's create a file called appconfig.dat file, like this. Okay, class appconfig. Okay, and then let's provide the base URL. So the base URL in this case is app.coinpaprika.com. Okay, and then the next thing that we need is the coin URL. Okay, v1/coins. Okay, now we're done with the app config. Now what we need to do is we need to move on to our repository. Okay, for our repository. In this case, we are just going to have one repository, which is going to be the coin repository. CoinRepository.dat. Okay, so it's going to be class coin repository, like this. Okay, so what we need to work with the HTTP package, because we are going to be using the HTTP package to make get requests from our CoinPaprika application. Okay, so now the first thing that we need to do is that we just need to to initialize the client. So the client is going to be http dot client like this. Okay, now we are done. So the first thing that we need to do is we are going to use a future, and then we are going to use FPDart, future either, and then we need so inside our core, right, inside our core folder, what we need to do is we need to create a class called appfailure. Do that. All right, so this class is just going to handle errors if we get an error from our API. In this case, the string is going to be a message, and then app failure, we'll put it like this. It's going to be required this dot message. All right, like this. Right, now we are done. Okay, so now let's go back to our repository, app failure, and then we're going to retrieve a list of coins from our model like this, and then we are just going to say get coins like this. All right, so what I'm just going to do here, I'm just going to import future either FPDart. It's the FPDart package, so it's failing to import. I think it's not being recognized, so let me just paste it below. So this is FPDart package. Okay, so what we are going to do first is we are going to initialize the URL, which is URI.https. all right, so now what we are going to do is we're just going to provide the appconfig.the base URL, and then we need to provide the coin URL, like this, and then we need to get a response. We need to get the response from the server. So to get it, we are just going to say await the client dot get like this. You see, this is going to be an async method like this. All right, so now, and then the data, in this case our data is going to be JSON decode, and then the source is going to be response.body. all right, like this. All right, so now we are going to use a try catch block, so that if there's an exception, we are going to catch it. All right, like this. So now we are just going to say if our response dot status code is equal to 200, that means that the response is successful, right? We are getting a successful response. We are just going to return right, and then it's going to be coin from JSON, and then we are just going to provide the data like this. All right, so why did I use either here? So when I'm getting data from our server, there are two possibilities. It's either we are getting an error or we are getting the actual data. So in this case, either allows us to like handle if there is an error, we are just going to display the error using our appfailure class. If we get the data, we are just going to retrieve a list of coins, right? In this case, so in this case, if it's successful, on our right side, we are just going to pass in the coin from JSON. That means that we are going to pass in the data from our database. Else, what we are going to do is we are just going to return left, and then left is going to be app failure, and then here it's going to we are going to response dot reason phrase dot toString like this. All right, now to catch an exception, what we just need to do, we are just going to return left, and then up failure, and then e.toString, like this. All right, now we are done. As you can see, we don't have any error here. So what's going on here? So let me just explain. So this is a method for us for getting our coins from our database. So in this case, we are using FPDart or Ether to make sure that if we get an error from our server, we are just going to display an error. If we get a successful response, we are going to just retrieve the list of coins, right? Here what we are just going to do is we are just passing the URL to the URL of the URL to get the coins, and then here we're just going to get the response, and then we are just going to decode that response into JSON, right? And then what we are going to do here is make sure that we are using a try catch block, so that to make sure that if we get an exception, we are going to display it. So in this case, we are first checking if we get a successful response, which is making sure that our status code is equals to 200. Then we will then assign this data into our FPDart, into right, and then if we get an error, we're just going to pass in the up failure, right? Okay, so now the next method that we are going to work on is get coin is getting the coin details, right? So we're going to pass in up failure, and then coin detail. And then we're just going to get coin detail like this. To get the coin detail, we're just going to pass in the string, which is going to be coin ID, like this. And then we'll pass in the async, and then pass in the URL. That's the URL, which is going to be URI.https, like this. And then appconfig.base URL, appconfig.con URL, like this. And then we need to make sure that it's going to the specific coin ID plus coin ID, like this. Okay, we can also use interpolation, like this, right? So now we need the response. So the response is going to be await client.get. So we're just going to get the URL, right? And then the next thing that we need is the data. We are just going to decode our response. So to do that, we are going to use the JSON decode method, and then we pass in the response.body. All right, now our try catch block, like we did before, like this. All right, so first we need to check that if our response is successful. Response.status code is equal to 200, like this. Then we are going to return right. And then coin.from JSON. And then we are just going to provide the data. It's coin detail. Yeah. Like this. Else, that means that we have an error. We just return left, up failure, up failure, and then response dot reason phrase, like this, dot toString, right? And then for the catch, what we're just going to do is we are just going to catch that exception, which is going to be e.toString, like this. All right, so that's it for the method for getting our coin detail. All right, so now that we are done with this method, what we need to do now is we need to now work on the CoinViewModel, right? So let's go inside our view model, and then I'm just going to say CoinView. In this case, I'm just going to call it HomeViewModel. HomeViewModel.dat. Okay. So class HomeViewModel. It's going to extend this new API from Riverpod, which is AsyncNotifier. All right, let me just copy the import statement somehow. All right, AsyncNotifier, which is going to be of type list of the coin of our coin, like this. Yeah, so now, unlike the state notifier from the previous API, we use state notifier where we would have to create the constructor for this. In this new async notifier, we don't do that. So an async notifier is just like a future provider, but the only difference is that it's a future provider that allows us to manipulate UI states, right? So now what I'm going to just do is I'm just going to say let CoinRepository is CoinRepository, and then it override. We are just going to override this method, and then what we are going to do is list coin. And then we're just going to say coin repository. So in the coin repository, what we need to do is say final coin repository provider is equals to provider and then it's going to return a coin repository like this. All right, now we are done. And then here what we are going to do is since I said from the async notifier, it doesn't allow us to create a constructor for the HomeViewModel. What we just need to do is we use what's called a build method. There's this new build method. One thing about this build method, it allows us to use ref inside it. As you can see, we have ref.watch, and then what we can just do is we can just say coin repository provider. So I'm now setting this coin repository to the coin repository provider, and then what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to return null like this. Okay. All right, so now inside our HomeViewModel, what do we need to do? We need to get the coins, right? The coin data. So it's going to be a list of coins. All right, and then get coins like this, right? It's going to be an asynchronous method like this, right? So what I'm just going to do is final coins is equal to, we are going to await and then we're going to get the data from the get coins from the coin repository, right? So since we used FPDart, we need to handle our scenarios in case we have an error or in case we have the data, right? So we are going to use a switch statement in this case. So left, if you remember, if we have an error, we're going to create a value. We are going to assign it to L, right? And then what we do if there's an error, we are just going to throw L.message. And then what do we do if we get the value? What we're just going to do is we are just going to say value now like this it's going to be like this. Also, let's import FPDart. All right. Now we are done with the HomeViewModel. So let me just explain it. So we created this function, which is HomeViewModel. HomeViewModel, which is going to extend an AsyncNotifier. So an AsyncNotifier is just like a feature provider, but unlike the feature provider, it allows us to manipulate UI states. So as you saw from our illustration when we talked about the M.V.V.M architecture, the AsyncNotifier allows us to listen to events, and then it allows us to change the UI if it allows us to change the UI if the state changes, right? So that's the part of the AsyncNotifier. It's a new API from Riverpod. Okay, all right. Now that we are done using the AsyncNotifier, now what we need to do is we need to work on our UI parts, right? In this case, we are going to work on the HomeViewModel, right? We are going to work on the HomeViewModel on the home screen, right? So inside the home screen, what we need to do is let's go into our widgets folder. So we are just going to create a widgets or a component called CoinItem. That's just going to display a single item, right? So let's work on it. So let's work on it. It's going to be coin item dot file. Okay, it's going to be a class coin item. It's going to be a stateless widget. I'm sorry. So you can just press ST on your Visual Studio, and then it's going to, and then you can say coin item, and then I will provide the coin. And then inside here, what we are going to do is we're going to use the required method, this.coin. Let's remove the constant here. So we are just going to display these items inside a column. It's going to be a column widget, and then let's provide children. And then inside this column widget, we need a row widget. So inside the row widget, we are going to have main axis alignment, and then we need the space between the items inside the row. And then we need space between, not space around, but space between. Okay. The next thing that we need the row children. Right. So inside this, we are going to have a text widget. So okay, text widget, and then what this text widget is going to be, the first one is going to be the rank. Coin.rank .toString, and then we also need the dot, and then coin.name also. Okay, let's just do it outside this cut. Coin.name, and then we also have the coin.symbol. Coin.symbol. So let me just wrap it inside some brackets like this. Okay. All right, now we need a style. We need to style this text. So it's going to be a text style. So let me just copy this style and then let me just paste it. All right, so that's the style. Color black, font size 15, and then we have font weight, which is going to be bold, right? So that's it. Now the next item also, we're going to wrap it in a container widget. All right, so the child is going to be coin.isActive. So we're going to check the coin.active. If the coin is active, that means that it's true. We are just going to display a text with active, and then the style is going to be a text style. Color, we are going to provide a colors.green, and then the font size is 15, and then the font weight, and then font weight.bold. Okay, so let's just copy this. All right, and then let's paste it here. It's going to be constant. Active, and then you are just going to say not active. And then let's change the color. If it's not active, we want to just change the color to red, like this. Okay, after we are done with this, what else do we need to do? So we need to just provide a divider, so that we have this nice divider. Then thickness is going to be 1. Okay, so that's it. So let's go back to our HomeViewModel. I forgot to take care of something here. So inside our home, we need the HomeViewModel provider, which is going to be AsyncNotifier provider, like this. AsyncNotifier provider is going to take in the HomeViewModel. It's going to take in the HomeViewModel, and then it's going to take in a list of coins. Okay, and then we are just going to say HomeViewModel.new, like this. All right, so now we are done. So now to get the coins, what we need to do, we are going to say final get all coins provider. Get all coins provider, which is going to be reference.watch. We are going to just provide is goes to auto dispose future provider, like this. Auto dispose future provider, and then we are going to provide a list of coin. And then we're going to pass in the reference object. And then what we are just going to do is we are just going to initialize the HomeViewModel here. Model is equal to reference.watch HomeViewModel provider.notify, like this. And then we are just going to return the HomeViewModel.get. We are just going to get all the coins, right? Like this. All right, so now that we are done with the HomeViewModel, we have entered the home video. Let's go into our home screen. So inside our home screen, what we need to do is first thing that we need to do, we need to change this stateless widget into consumer widget. So consumer widget is a class that allows us to consume Riverport providers inside our widgets. And then we just here we just get the widget reference ref and then reference, which we are going to use to just consume the provider. So now what we are going to do, we are just going to say final coins is equals to reference.watch get all coins providers, like this. So now that we have all coins, what we are just going to do here is we are going to return a scaffold, right? And then we need to provide an app bar. So app bar, and then the background color in this case is going to be colors.white. Okay. Now we need the body. So the body is going to be coins.when. So when we have the data, what we are just going to do is we are just going to return list view.builder, and then in the item builder we need to pass in a method with two parameters, the context and the index. The index allows us to access the individual index of each coin. All right, so now what we need here is the shrimp rep is equals to true, and also the item count is equals to data.length. All right, and then also the scroll direction is equals to axis.vertical. All right. So now that we are done, we need to return a gesture detector. We need to return a gesture detector, and then on tap we are just going to leave it like that, the on tap method. And then the child in this case is going to be the coin item. The coin item it's going to take in the data, which is going to be index, like this. All right, now that we are done, for our error now, what we need to do is we need to work on the error text, right? So inside our utils folder we need to create so inside our util folder, right, if we go inside our util folder, we need to create the error text.dat. So this is going to handle all if there is any error on our Riverport. So now what I'm going to do is going to be a stateless widget, st, and then it's going to be error text. Here it's going to be, let's change it to error text. text like this. Okay, now we need to provide string and error, a string of type error, and then here we need to provide required this dot error like this. Okay, now we are just going to return the center widget, and then text error like this. Okay, so let's just remove this constant. Okay, now that we are done, we need to take care of another widget again, which is going to be the loader. It's going to display a loader when our application is working. There is the stateless widget, then it's going to be a loader, and then this loader is going to be a circular progress indicator like this. Then we can provide the background color. In this case, I'm going to use colors.green to match our application colors, right? Let's center it. Let's just center it like this. Okay, now let's go back to home screen. So here the error, and then stack trace. All right, we're going to display error text, and then it's going to be error.toString like this, and then here it's going to be a loader like this. All right, now that we are done, let's just run our application on the emulator, and then let's just check if everything is okay. Okay, so we're getting an error because we need to wrap our main.dat file with my app with the provider scope, because the provider scope monitors all the provider scope like this. If we do like this, now we're good to go. Okay, so let me refresh. Right, now let's see. Yeah, now we have all the cryptocurrency apps in our application. As you can see, it's displaying all the active cryptocurrency. Unfortunately, I think we don't have any inactive cryptocurrency application. Okay, so that is now for the HomeViewModel. Now what you need to do now, we need to work on the coin detail to show the details of the coins, right? So okay, now we're going to take care of the CoinViewModel. Okay, so let's go into our view model, and then let's just type in CoinDetailViewModel .dat. All right, like this. Okay, so our class CoinViewModel is going to extend the AsyncNotifier. It's going to extend the AsyncNotifier provider, and then in this case we are going to have the CoinDetail. All right, so now we need the CoinRepository like this, and then we need the CoinDetail. We need to share CoinDetail build function like always. Okay, so now we need to initialize the CoinDetail, and as I said before, like this build function allows us to access multiple providers using the reference object. So now we are going to access the CoinRepository provider like this. and then we just return none. Okay, right, so that's it. Now what we need to do is let's get the coin detail like this, and then it's going to get coin detail. Okay, so now the coin detail is going to be await coin repository dot get coin detail coin ID like this, and then we are going to return a switch which is going to take in coin detail. We have two methods there. We have the right, left, and then the right. Left is going to handle the error part. So if we have the error, here we can just throw an error. If we want to be fancy, we can just like show the error in a snack bar. Okay, yeah, you can try and do that. I'm not going to implement it in this video, but you can just try to show it in a snack bar. All right, final error, and then we are just going to display the error like this. Okay, so let's import FPDart like this. Something is wrong. FPDart return switch coin detail. Right, I think I made a typo here. Import FPDart. So I'm getting an error. I don't know why I'm getting an error. Probably find out. Why are we getting an error here? Turn the switch. Future coin detail. Okay, so now let's go final coin view model. Coin view model is equals to AsyncNotifier provider like this. Notifier provider, then coin detail. Okay, I made a typo. It's supposed to be CoinDetailViewModel. CoinDetailViewModel, CoinDetail. No. CoinDetailViewModel, and then provide the coin detail like this. All right. And then CoinViewModel.new. And then final coin detail. Final coin detail is equal to reference.watch. no, it's called to future provider dot family. So a family is more than, it's more of like a modifier. It allows us to provide like exception, any parameters. In this case, we have reference, and then we can provide this parameter, the string coin ID, like this, coin ID, like this. Okay. And then we are just going to return, we're just going to set coin detail reference dot watch, and then coin, it's supposed to be coin detail. Some just keep on forgetting the detail. Okay, CoinDetailViewModel, and then dot notify. Okay, and then we are just going to return coin detail dot get coin detail, and then provide the coin ID. All right, so now we are done with the coin detail view model. So now what we need to do is we need to go and start working on our we need to go and start working on our the widgets. We have the coin tag and then the team member widget. Yeah, if you remember from our application, let me just show you from our application here. Okay, so it has replaced the previous application. Okay, no problem. So let's just work on the coin tag. So coin tag that is the widget. It's going to be a stateless widget, and then we're going to say coin tag widget. Coin tag widget. It's going to take in when providing a tag like this. Let's import it. Let's import the tag. Let's import the tag class. Then now we're just going to pass in this method required this.tag. So okay, it's going to be tags. Okay, yeah, like this. Let's remove the constant here. So now what we need to return a rep, and then spacing is going to be 4, and then we need to also provide a run spacing, which is going to be 0, like this. All right, and then children for the rep method, which is going to be a chip. And then we need to provide a padding. It's age insets dot all 5, and then background color is going to be colors dot green, like this. All right, and then the label is going to be a text, and then it's going to be tag dot name, and then dot toString. We just need to convert this to string, and then we need to also style it, the text style. All right, so now for the text style, what we need is a color, which is we need a color of white, and then we also need a font size of 10. give it a font size of 10 like this. Okay, so let's just put a constant here and then a constant here. So that's it for the text part, right? That's it for the text part. The next part that we need to work on is the team member widget. Yeah, somehow we still have an error. Okay, we need to put a semicolon. Team member like this. That it's going to be a stateless widget, and then team member widget like this, and then it's going to take in a team member, and then team member. We provided this to team member. Now we're just going to return a column. Alright, so now we need to provide a cross-axis alignment. And then cross-axis alignment dot start. Okay, now we need to provide text. And then team member dot name dot toString like this, and then style. Let's provide text style, and then the colors dot black. Then font size is 20, and then font weight, and then font weight about like this. Okay, we are just going to separate it with a size box. Size box, we give it a height of 4, and then we also need the position, so I'm just going to copy this, and then position, and then font size, let's give it a font size of 15. And then the weight is, let's give it a W500 like this. And then give it a thickness of 1. Okay, so now we are done with the coin details widget. Let's go inside the coin detail itself. So inside the coin, let's just say coin detail screen dot like this. Alright, it's going to be a stateless widget, coin detail screen like this. We need to pass in the coin ID. Coin ID like this, and then we just pass in required this dot coin ID. Okay, so now the next thing that we just need to do is we need to return a scaffold, and then a bar. And then the app bar, we're just going to give it an app bar, and then colors to white. Let's give it a color of white. All right, so now we have the body. So inside our body, what we are just going to do is we're just going to, okay, let's change this stateless widget to consumer widget, because we want to consume about providers. Widget reference, let's provide the widget reference, let's pass in the widget reference class, and then final coin is equals to reference to watch, and then coin what did I name it? CoinDetail provider. Oh no, CoinDetail provider. CoinDetail provider, and then it's going to take in the coin ID. Okay, now we are good to go. Now what we are going to do is we are simply going to say coin dot when data, and then we are just going to return a safe area. And then the child, we are going to just pass in single child to Scofield. And then the child is, we're just going to provide in the column. And then for the column, we need the cross axis alignment, cross axis alignment dot start. Okay. Right, now what we need to do is we need to work on the padding. Okay, so let's go back to our coin. I just remembered something. Let's go back to our coin. Let's go to our coin home screen. Inside our home screen, what we need to do is we need to just provide this coin child. Let's put some padding here. Okay, and then let's go back here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to provide a row widget, and then let's give it some padding, a row widget. So, and then what we need to do is main axis alignment dot space between, not specifically, but space between, like this. Okay, now for the children, what we need to provide is the text. Right, text, and then the text is going to have data dot rank. So data dot somehow coin detail. Coin detail, and then data dot rank. Somehow I'm not getting the data. I think I made a typo somewhere. Okay, so let's just get rid of this careful. let's just say return CoinDetail.when, and then we have the data here, and data dot. Somehow we're not getting the data. I don't know why. It must be. Let's go into our CoinDetail provider. CoinDetailViewModel. CoinDetail. What's inside our CoinDetail? Let's go and check what's inside our CoinDetail. So inside our CoinDetail, what I'm seeing is we didn't change the items inside our CoinDetail. So what I'm just going to do is when we copied the classes, we just copied them as they are. So we forgot to add the rank. So I'm just going to add the rank. And rank like this. So that's why we are not getting it when we are trying to run. So let's just run Flutter pub build run. Okay, now let's just so now it's coin.rank dot data dot somehow I'm not getting the data. I don't know why. Okay, so let me just try to remove this scaffold. CoinDetail.when, and then data, then error, then mistake, trace, error, text, to string. Loader like this. All right, so now that we have the data, what we are just going to do is we're just going to return the scaffold bar, and then we're just going to provide the bar, and then for the body we need to just wrap into a safe area widget so that our items don't protrude to the top bar. We are going to use the single child score view provider child, and then it's going to take in a column, and then main cross axis alignment is going to be cross axis alignment to start. Okay, now that we are done, children, and then padding, we just need a row widget. Main axis alignment, and then main axis alignment dot space between, and then let's wrap it with a padding. Let's wrap it with a padding widget like this. Okay, now we need to provide the children. It's going to be text like this, and then inside the text we are just going to provide the ranking data dot rank dot toString. Okay, somehow Somehow I'm having problems with the riverboard, so let me check what's going on. I think it has something to do with the coin detail view model. Coin detail view model dot, and then okay, I get why. Coin detail. So I think I might have made an error somewhere. So coin detail is equals to get coin detail is equals to await CoinRepository.get coin detail. So it might also be an issue with the get coin detail. I think everything here is okay. So what we're going to do, we're just going to return a switch of the coin detail left value. Then we are just going to throw an L here, and then if there is right, then we are just going to value final error. Okay, error, and then that's it. So here we're going to get CoinDetail.rank.toString like this. Now it's working. Okay, and then we also need the data.name. Okay, we also need the data.name. So I think I forgot to add the name in the coin detail. So let me just copy it and go and paste it inside the model folder. We have the name. Okay, this is supposed to be outside this file, the .name, and then in brackets we just need to provide the data.value, the symbol. Okay, right, and then we need to style it, which is going to be text style, and then the color is going to be color. We just give it a black color, and then font size of 25, and then a font weight of bold. Okay, so here it's supposed to be font size like this. Now that we are done with this, the next thing that we need to show the container. We need to show the container if it's active or not. So container, and then child, we are going to pass them the data dot is active. If that's equal to true, then we are going to show a text. The text is going to be active. style text style, and then the color is going to be colors.green, and then font size 15, and then font weight, the bold. Okay, if that's not the case, then we are just going to copy this. If that's not the case, what we just need to do is let's just copy this text. Copy it and then we paste it here. And then we just change it to not active. And then let's change the color to red. All right. So that's it for the container part. Now we need to separate it with the size box. Let's provide a height of 8. Okay. Right, so the next thing that we need is to work on the padding. Okay, so now we are just going to display the text. So what we need to do is we're just going to use a text widget, and then we're doing text, and then what we are just going to do is provide the style, and then text style, and then for the color it's going to be colors to black, and then for the font size it's going to be 25. And then the font weight, we're just going to use a bold. All right, so let's wrap it with the padding, and then let's make sure that it's a constant. All right. Now, the next widget that we are going to work on is we are going to display the tags themselves. So to display the tags, what we are going to do is we are just going to use a size box widget. And then the child is going to be a rep widget. So a rep widget, right? And then for the rep widget, we need to provide the children. So for the children, what we are just going to do is I'm just going to say data dot tags. In this case, they can be null. So and then map. We are just going to map those tags to right. We're just going to map those tags, right? And tag, we are just going to map them, and then we are just going to return a coin tag widget, and then coin tag widget like this. And then after this, what we are going to do is we're just going to convert this into a list, right? And then let's provide it a padding so that we don't want it to be hugging the sides, right? And then the next thing now that we are going to do is we need to work on the team member, right? So we are just going to use a size box also. Size box, and then inside size box, the child is going to be a column widget. All right, once you use the column widget, cross axis alignment is going to be cross axis alignment dot start. Cross axis alignment dot start, and then children And then for the children, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say data.team. Okay, and so inside our model class, we are also missing the team. So what we need to do is, let's go and copy it, and then let's paste it. The team member here, supposed to be team member. Let's import it, and then let's run Flutter build runner like this. Right, now that it is completed, and then we are going to use team. It can be nullable also, and then we need to map or loop through it. So we need to map or loop through it. So we are going to just map, and then it's the member, and then we are just going to return the team member widget, and then we are just going to convert this into a list like this. Okay, now that we are done with the coin detail. So let's just look for errors. I see we have an error somewhere. Team member. Now we just need to pass in the member here. Member. Okay. So now if we go back to our home screen, now we just need to use a navigator dot push like this, and then we need to provide the material page route. We need to pass in the context. We need to pass in the context, then CoinDetailScreen, and then for the ID, what we need to do is we just pass in the data index like this .id, and then we need to convert this ID into a string like this. Okay, all right, now that everything is running, let's just reload our application. Let's see if everything is working perfectly. Now this is our coin application. If we click on Bitcoin, you can see now it's not displaying Bitcoin, but I think for the team members, what's happening is I think it's hugging this. I don't want to be close to the wall, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go CoinDetailScreen team member. Yeah, we need to just repeat with the padding widget. So if I reload now our application, if I click on this, you can see now we have this nice looking cryptocurrency application. And then you can also see that if I click on it again, it doesn't reload because the feature provider from Riverpod, it allows us to cache our data. So now our data is already cached, and as you can see also we have this nice looking animation. Then if I try to, you can see, so as you can see we have a ton of cryptocurrency applications. There are plenty of them. Yeah, tons of them. So yeah, that's what is it, guys, on building a cryptocurrency application using the coinpaprika application, and also using the M.V.V.M architecture in the newly AsyncNotifier provider. So if you find this video useful, please make sure you click on the thumbs up button, make sure you like, and then share the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.